Okay, so same thing. We're going to make sure our tail is hanging down. We don't want to grab that. We're going to grab our yarn and wrap it around our fingers, holding the knitting needle in your right hand and the yarn with the knitting needle in your left. We're going to go in just like we did, left to right. We're going to pick that yarn, and instead of pulling it over the end, we're going to just slide it off. And what we've done is we've taken the stitch from the right needle to the left. So in, pick it through, and slide it off. So I'm using my left hand to guide the yarn around. So you will notice that when I'm doing this, when we did the cast on, I used my right finger a little bit more to guide the things. I don't have to now that I have the stitches on, but you're going to go in, pick it, and then I usually use my right finger to slide them off. So that way, and I'm using my left index finger to hold the stitches so I don't pull a bunch of them off. And I'm just working with one at a time. So left to right, pick that stitch, slide it off. This is why I wanted you to learn the knitted cast on, because once you get that, you're 95% there to knit. Left to right, pick that, slide it off. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of this row. This way of knitting is very quick, and you have less hand movement than you do throwing. It's also really good for people that are left-handed, because the majority of the work is done with your left hand. And sometimes you have to adjust your... This is how I normally knit. So I'm much more comfortable doing this than the throwing. For the first 15 years of knitting, I knit the other way with throwing or English style. And then I changed. And so I can do both. Now, knowing both of them is very handy, especially when you want to work in what's called color work. So there we go. We have one row done. You can tell, you can't really tell now, but you will start to see that the front of the knit stitch, so you know it's a knit stitch, it looks like a V, and it's smooth, because if you look on the back, it's bumps. So that is the back of the knit stitch, creates a bump. So now let's go back and do another row. We're going to make sure our tail's hanging down. We're going to grab our yarn, hold it however you like, but just make sure you've got your tension. And we're going to go in, pick that stitch, and slide it off. And as you see, I'm using my thumb and I'm holding those stitches so I don't pull too many off. And I'm also, the yarn is just gliding through my fingers. I'm not holding it tightly at all. I'll go ahead and do the rest of this row. I'm using my left index finger to guide the yarn. As you practice this, all of this will become second nature, and you won't really have to be thinking about it. At first, you're thinking about how I'm holding the yarn, what's this finger doing, what's that hand doing, everything. But you'll get to where it's just second nature, and you'll be able to knit without even looking at it, actually, which is kind of fun. Now we got our last stitch. So there we go. We have done 2 rows. Now, it looks like it's just the bumps on this side, but it's not. If you pull it down a little bit, you can see the V's of the knit stitch. Now, on this side, you can definitely see the knit stitch, and then you can see the back of the row we just completed with the bumps. Okay? I want you to keep 24 stitches on, and I want you to do this, knit back and forth until you have 6 inches, because this is your practice, but we're gonna make this into something at the end. So I want you to make sure that you have 24 stitches and you've gone about 6 inches. Now you may, I guarantee you're going to have to start over several times, and that's okay. And even if you have mistakes and holes and the stitches are not the same, no problem. That's why we're doing this. This is a practice swatch, okay? All right. I am going to let you get back to knitting.